Hi, welcome to an overview of the Colorado Clinical Translational and Sciences Institute Dissemination and Implementation Research Core, or the CCTSI DNI Core. So my name is Heather Gilmartin, and I am an Associate Director of the CCTSI DNI Core, and we're going to start with the definition. What is dissemination? Dissemination is an active, tailored process of communication that is meant to spread information widely. In science, the goal is to persuade users, be them our peers, the public, policymakers, or patients, to adopt our science. This is different than implementation, which is when users learn about and start to use an innovation. This is also different than diffusion, which is a passive process by which an innovation is communicated through channels over time. So the CCTSI DNI Research Core supports innovation, education, and application of DNI science and evidence for the entire CCTSI community. And how do we do that? We provide DNI science resources. We also provide educational opportunities. We offer mentoring and free consultation services to members. And we have included two resources that we highly encourage you to dive into. One is the CTSA Compendium of DNI Catalogs, and the other is the Dissemination Inspiration Library, which is where you can go if you're thinking, I need to disseminate my work, I just don't even know where to begin. Go to the Inspiration Library and have a look. And these are all available on our website at CCTSI. So the things that we cover in our DNI core is the full spectrum of dissemination and implementation science research. The idea is that we want you to focus on both the science and the practice. The science of dissemination and implementation is undertaken through our partnership with the Accords Group at the University of Colorado. And their program conducts and supports studies of the science of DNI. The world of DNI in regards to practice came around in 2018 when the Data Science to Patient Value, or the D2V Dissemination Core, launched a dissemination service. And this was to put DNI science into action, to assist researchers in developing products that showcase their work. And then in 2020, we, the CCTSI DNI Core, absorbed the D2V Dissemination Service. And then since then, we have been consulting and providing education, mentoring, and resources. And then in addition, in 2022, we launched a service center for dissemination scientists, are a rare breed. And people wanted to hire us and use us for both product development and also the execution of their dissemination plans. And so all of those are things that I will discuss in a minute. So who is our core group? We are led by Dr. Bethany Kwan, myself, and Demetria McNeil Bolden, who are the associate directors. And then we have Lindsay Lennox and Justin Schrader, who support our programs. So this is the key part. If you want to share your study results with non-research audiences, meaning beyond a publication and then an academic presentation, we encourage you to ask for a free consultation with the CCTSI Dissemination Consult Service. And you can do that by scanning our QR code, which is right there on the video. So what do we do in a dissemination consultation? We start by going through an evidence-based dissemination workbook that is guided by theories, models, and frameworks to really help gain control and guidance for all the thoughts that are probably flying through your head. And so we talk about what kind of communication networks can you use to spread your message, both formal, such as maybe your department, maybe a community organization, and then informal, like people who will speak up your work or promote your work on social media. And then we also will talk about how can you take a message that maybe was written into a journal's abstract into a nice, tight elevator speech message And then how do you create materials to match your message for social media? What happens if you want to create a video or even go onto a podcast? We will help you identify communication experts, those who can do really fancy graphics like the one you see on the screen, video designers, and also media outlets. There are lots of groups in Colorado and national media outlets who are looking for scientists to talk about their work. And then we will also talk about how you can evaluate the impact of your dissemination efforts. Because just because you put it out there, you need to sort of know if it actually did anything. So we will work through all of those things during one of our consultations. So for example, messaging. Crafting your key message should be a fair amount of work because you need to tailor it to specific audiences, to your program goals, and then to the objectives of that particular outreach. There are multiple ways to do it. One of the theories that we highly encourage, because it's quite intuitive, is the idea of social marketing theory. And what that goes through is the 4 Ps, right? What is the product? What is the price? What is the promotion? And what is the place? What is a product? A product is a service or a good that fulfills a need or a want of customers. You'll have to be clear what your product is and the value it brings to the customer, which is a value proposition. So price, what is the price point? Is it free or is there a small cost? Or do you expect revenue to cover the ongoing cost? The place, where do you want to put it? Do you want it to be on a billboard because you're trying to get to a community who's always in their cars? Or do you want to put it on social media because a lot of people are out, maybe a Facebook community who focuses on the area that you're interested in? There are other theories and frameworks that we will talk to you about, such as communication theories, behavior change theories, because there's multiple ways to get your message out. Then we will talk about things like any of the products you want to create. How do you promote those things? Where do you place them, right? So products are it's the format of advertising your product, right? So is it a video, an infographic, maybe a graphic abstract? Do you want to create a policy brief? Those are things that we can put you in touch with people who can do that work. And if it's simple enough, we might be able to teach you or to partner with you to create them. And then promotion. How do you get the word out, right? They seems like there's so many ways, but do you want to do very targeted promotion? One group, one specific state, potentially one specific community, or do you just want it to go out as far as possible and hope that it goes viral? So dissemination benefits from open access sharing of materials or products of research, right? If it's behind a firewall, it's really hard for people to access things. The goal is for the public to find your work and access the information immediately. One of the tools that we have at the University of Colorado is the CU Anschutz digital collections. So this is a free open access institutional repository, and it's run through our library. And the library will collect and then preserve the work that you submit to them. So a library, right? It will stay in there forever. It is electronic, and it provides access to the digital scholarly work, which otherwise might be sitting in one of your folders on your computer. The beauty is that by registering and submitting your work to the digital collections, you will have a digital object identifier created for each of your work. And what does that mean? It allows you to permanently identify the content. So you include it in your reference. You can include it in any of your marking materials. They click on that and it goes directly to your product. And this work is now registered within search engines. So if someone types in the name of your product, it will pop up through your DOI and will go directly to the digital collections. And the repository is meant to complement traditional means of scholarly communication, such as peer-reviewed journals, even conference presentations, because the concept is it expands the readership and then the ongoing availability of scholarly research. This is a free repository, and it is something that you can do in the midst of your work, at the end of your work, but know then that your work goes on forever. So the other piece that we will talk to you about during some of our consultations is around how do you scale up and sustain your work, right? This is a significant problem in research. One of the key challenges is the failure to rapidly translate research innovation and discoveries into commercially viable products, and then to move these through development, scale up, and dissemination into communities and clinical practice that can benefit the most. Often we feel that, our specialty is coming up with the ideas, testing them, and then publishing them. Really, we have little knowledge about how to identify the commercialization or marketability opportunities arising from our own research, discoveries, inventions, or services. And the result is that the enthusiasm and expertise required to scale up and sustain discoveries are lost in the complex process, right? Because we just run into barriers, and occasionally we will fail and just move on to the next idea. So during our consultations, we will ask you, as you are designing your product for dissemination, to also design it for scale up and sustainability. For we want your products, we want your research to reach as many people as possible who can benefit from it. And then, as I mentioned in the beginning, we have this wonderful new resource called the Dissemination Inspiration Library. And it is a visual library showcasing examples of dissemination products used in health research. And this includes everything from flyers, there's videos, there are legislative briefs, websites, visual abstracts, newsletters, infographics, podcasts, things that either we have created with the CCTSI members, or that we have found online and people have given us permission to share because they were so inspirational. Okay, so we're now going to move into the dissemination service. And this was a new program we started in 2022 due to feedback that people just don't have the skills or the time to conduct their own dissemination efforts. And through the dissemination service, these are the kind of things that we will offer for a fee. So we will work with a research team to walk them step by step through the D2V dissemination workbook. We will help them create a dissemination draft. So, exactly what they're going to do when, based off what theory, and how they will evaluate it. We will help work through a grant dissemination section, which is now required in so many federal grants. And then we will also provide you guidance around how to budget for dissemination. And what we charge at the moment is a minimum of 5 hours worth of work for this kind of activity at $75 an hour, which is under the market value rate, because we, again, are here to build capacity for dissemination across the CCTSI partners. The other things that we offer within the dissemination service is project management. So we will help you launch and manage your dissemination and design plans. We can also facilitate any of the administrative tasks for contracting with external consultants. So if you decide to work with a media group, a web developer, radio producers, graphic and video designers, we can be the intermediaries to make that work happen in the most efficient and effective way. We also will work with you to really refine your health communication messaging. So you might be taking your abstract, right, from your peer review publication and needing to put it into a really brief elevator speech because you've been asked to be interviewed on television, right? So we can help you target your elevator speech to a particular audience, to a particular, is it a podcast versus a television interview? We can also help you write things up into a summary document that includes a call to action. So when you put it out on social media, it tells people that they should go do something. Along the way, we might identify new places for you to put your work. So newsletters, listservs, obviously social media, and then traditional media. We forget radio and television are still out there and people are using them. So if you are interested in creating graphics or videos for your research products, we can help create some very beautiful materials, and or we can send you off to a design group so that you can have them done at a larger level. And so we can create visual abstracts or infographics with you. We can help translate your message to visual designers, right? Because sometimes they don't speak healthcare and you don't speak graphic design. And we can then coordinate that professional graphic design work and the video production work. And then we can help you figure out, is social media for me? Is this a place that I want to put my work? right? We will help match your audience that you want to talk to with social media channels. We can also help guide creation of unique profiles on those channels. And if you're not interested in going on social media, maybe it's your lab, maybe it's your university department, so that you can have the word get out there, but not have to engage in these mediums yourself. We can help you develop and execute a sustainable dissemination strategy. So not just a one-off, but something that you do every month so it continues to build. And then also plan your evaluation efforts. So this would all be through the dissemination service. We also offer website design, coding, and critique. So if you already have a website and you just want someone to look at it and try and help make it better, we can do that. But you also, if you need to have it started from scratch, we can create basic websites or connect you to design firms within Colorado for you to do that work. And again, we can help you translate your dissemination messaging and goals to computer software scientists, because sometimes we all don't speak the same language. And then as we spoke about, digital archiving is a very important aspect of dissemination. And if you have a lot of materials and don't have the time to do the archiving, we can take all that in for you, work with the librarian to make sure everything gets uploaded appropriately, organize your naming conventions, keywords, and delivery into the system. So again, as part of our dissemination service. And then the last thing we offer is if you are working on a very large project and you think, I need a senior dissemination consultant, you can have one of our team join your team as a co-investigator. We can provide guidance on dissemination work within how to write the grant section to how to actually do the work. And we'll provide all those things you need, biosketch, letter of support, and then aspects of the budget so that you can write those into the grant if you feel that there is a need. So how do you find us? You request a dissemination. The free consultation is the entry point. So you go into our CCTSI website and you look for mentoring and consults with the dissemination service. And then we will have a 30 to 45 minute conversation with you. And if you determine at that time you want to hire us to do some of those services, then we move on from there. So thank you for this opportunity to speak to you about the CCTSI Dissemination Implementation Research Core. And if you have any questions, please go to our website, and we look forward to working with you. Thank you.